Okay, so these problems are going to be a little bit different because instead of drawing the Newman, we're going to draw the skeletal structure that we started with. And this looks weird because I copied this from ChemDraw, which doesn't have a blue background, so ignore the white. It doesn't mean anything. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I do this because I find students really struggle with how to go from a Newman to the skeletal. Well, I know that, let's change colors because I have pink here. So let's change this, let's use the lighter blue. That looks nice. I know that this is a carbon, and I know that this is a carbon. And that's the bond that I usually look down whenever I'm going from the skeletal to the Newman. So I always draw just a straight line, and this is my front carbon, and this is my back carbon. And I get to decide which is front and which is back because I get that choice. There was nothing to tell me otherwise. So you can flip this if you want. My brain just always thinks about left side front, right side back. That's how my brain defaults. And then I'm just going to look at this. So if I look at the front carbon of my Newman, I see that I have the Y is down here. And I know that the V of the Y is always dash wedge. So that tells me that Y should be down and my dash wedge should look like this. And then if I look at my back carbon, I'll switch colors for this. The back carbon is going to be Y up because I have two things going up here. So if I have Y up, that means the back carbon looks something like this. And now I haven't added anything. I've just gotten the basic outline of the structure. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now I'm going to start adding the groups. The easiest thing to add, if we go back to the front carbon, is what is sticking straight up. Well, that's just going to be a methyl group. So I don't have to write anything because this is implied to be a methyl group. If you want to write CH3, if you want to write Me for methyl, sure, go for it. I'm just going to leave it blank because, again, it's implied. Now, if this is my front carbon on my skeletal structure, that means I'm looking down this perspective. All right, so that's the decision I made based off how I drew this. So, and we've talked about, if you've watched any of the previous videos, your perspective arrow is going to tell you where dashes are. And when I say where they're located, I mean left versus right. So if the arrow is on the left side of the compound like it is here, dashes should also be on the left side. So that tells me the hydrogen on this structure is what is dashed, and then the ethyl group here is what is on the wedge. So here's carbon 1, carbon 2. All right, so that's how I figure out which one goes where. Let's look at the back carbon. All right, oh, don't do that. Come on, there we go. So if I look at the back carbon, I see I have my Y is up. The easiest thing, again, is the methyl group going straight down, and this is implied to be a carbon, so I don't have to write anything. And so, again, that perspective area is on the left side of the structure, so whatever's on the left side should be on a dash. So I can add my ethyl group to dash, so that's carbon 1, carbon 2, and then the right side is going to be the hydrogen. And I've added all my stuff. And then what I usually do, now that I know what it looks like, is I clean this up by erasing where my hydrogens are because I don't have to show those. And this should be, and we'll go ahead and get rid of everything else. All right, this is the skeletal structure that the Newman was built from.